Who's ready for the weekly bust? You're in the right place if you came to catch the show. Tyden and Levi are the names of your host. Who the next guest is, I really wanna know. Conversation escalating, let's get to the show. Who's ready for the weekly bust?
All right.
Who's ready for the weekly bust?
All right, here we go again. We're back. Number 2, season 4, episode 13. Terrill,
Bracken from Fusion Fight League.
In the house, like not even remote. We're
Not
in
even-
the studio, baby.
Not even at his own house this time.
Nice,
Let's
dude. It's nice to have you.
Don't have me in my kitchen.
That's right.
How's things going?
Oh, things are good. You know, I mean, just not a whole lot of sleep from last night, but you know, get plenty of rest when I'm dead.
That's right, man. We can sleep when we're dead.
Trying to
man.
build empires, right?
Building dreams.
What a night! What a night!
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. You know, it turned out really well. It was a rough show coming together, which some of them are. Some of them come together super smooth, and some of them are a little bumpy, little bumpy on the grind. But
A little controversy here and there.
oh yeah, lots of controversy, and yeah, sure, we can talk about all that. But,
Yeah,
Hell
absolutely.
yeah.
I think we can safely say we silenced all the haters last night because that was those were good.
The fights were incredible.
Mhm. Yeah.
They were incredible. I don't want to shortcome anything. I think every fucking fight was a nice fight, dude. There wasn't a fight that was boring, and you know, and sometimes MMA has they have a background of, you know, sometimes it can just be wrestling and grappling and people hate it and it goes boring, or you can get a show like last night where even in the grappling and all that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's universal for any fight card, any show, any promotion. UFC fights. Look at how often every once in a while there's a night of fights that are just subpar, and you
286.
yeah.
286 was subpar in my eyes.
And you can't necessarily tell by what's on paper. Sometimes the fights that look like they're going to be the best are the most disappointing, and the matchups that you think aren't going to be very exciting end up being fights of the night. So there is no, you try and do the best that you can with it, but really there is no rhyme or reason.
No, speaking of the fight of the night, you had a couple females. If you remind me of their names.
Jalissa Mendez and Stephanie DiGiulio. Yeah,
There you go.
Fantastic bout, man.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, they were getting down.
That's so women's fights are my favorite. The female fights are generally always my favorite. They're generally always fight of the night. And the reason why is because, you know, women are tenacious. They don't have a quit button.
No.
They go and go and go. They're very strategic and they swing for the fences. Yeah.
Speaking of strategic, both those ladies had hands, man. They were, you know, they're just not throwing the throw. They were throwing with intention and precision.
Yeah, they were both bloody. That was a good.
It was an awesome fight, man. It really was. It could have went either way, and
yeah.
it was
Well,
incredible.
you know, you look at those two fighters. First of all, Jalissa Mendez, she comes from a family of killers. Her brothers are dogs. They are warriors, and so there's that. And then Stephanie DiGiulio, obviously we know where she's training.
Yep.
And you know, the thing that I think is cool about that a lot of people don't understand is Stephanie is 47 years old.
Holy.
Yeah, she's 47 years old.
And fights like a 20-year-old?
Yep, and she's
getting down.
She was fighting a 20-year-old last night.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And I heard
What a difference. How many years apart is that? I mean, that's a fucking grip, dude. That's insane.
she only started training a few years ago.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep, only a couple of years now.
So that's dope, dude.
Yeah, she's well, that moves her record to 3-3, but her losses, every loss that she's had, have been exciting killer fights. So
Do you have any comments coming up, Levi?
Not yet.
Anybody,
Leave a comment if you want.
anybody
to.
that's in the live, be sure to drop comments so we know you're there. And if you have any questions or concerns or comments or anything, don't be shy. We're going to post them live, baby.
or comments.
yeah. Word of warning, I'm unfiltered today, so you don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. There's that post fight
Energy. Yeah.
that let off from having an event, and you know, especially a stressful one coming together. So you know, my give a fuck button.
No, hell no, man. We encourage you. That's what we like at the bus. So be as raw as you are, man, because that's how we are. First and foremost, you had superstars, legitimate superstars in the building last night. How was that? And you know, and what was it like to throw a show with such a star presence? And I also want to compliment them. They didn't distract anyone from the fights. Actually, they were quite private.
Yeah, just hung out mostly by some concessions. It seemed like, you know what I mean. Got the pictures in the back, so it wasn't distracting from the fight.
Yeah, they didn't want to take away from the show. You know, and you got to figure that they get overrun everywhere they go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to come in and just be themselves and not have to worry. And you know, I mean, they're from here. Everybody knows them.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So they get to relax a little bit, and I appreciate that about them. They were really awesome. They were super complimentary and great to work with. Very accommodating.
They were really nice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For those who don't know who we're talking about Mr. Tim Welch and Sean O'Malley. They dropped by last night and they made appearances. They did meet and greets and some autographing for kids and all that fun shit. It was really cool.
And then they came and did their job and walked out with Tommy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and Tommy Mcmillen had a fucking fantastic night. He did as well. He had a first round knockout. And it happened super fucking fast. It was all explosive from the very beginning.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. You know, those guys, Tim and Sean, they brought 3 fighters.
Yep.
All three of their fighters, all 3 won, right?
MMA Lab.
Yep.
Yeah, they showed out. Their team came and executed their jobs.
Yep. And that's one of the things that I love about this show. So first of all, let's talk about the quality of matchups on the card. I feel like all of the fights across the board were competitive. I'm just going to put it out there. The main event fight, we knew that one wasn't our favorite matchup going in. I was really hoping for a little bit more out of that fight because I knew who he was training with. I knew, training with Dewey Cooper but he was put in a really good camp, and I expected to see a better version of him. But let's face it, I think pretty much anybody that steps across the cage from Tommy right now, I think that's going
to have a handful, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty similar result with just about anybody who's brave enough to step in the fight with Tommy. He's been doing it. He's been exceeding expectations when he fought Shane Victor and some of the people that he's fought in our cage before as an amateur. He took tough amateur fights, and he's not afraid to fight anybody. So when we started doing that matchup, Tommy was literally willing to fight anybody we could put in front of him. We just weren't able to come up with anybody in a reasonable amount of time. Now we're going to do several more fights with Tommy moving forward, and we do have some tough fights.
That's a hell of an announcement for people who don't know. I mean, so he got a multi-deal fight with Fusion. So
and he was thinking it might have been his last fight in Great Falls, or
he'll be back in Great Falls. His goal is what Tommy's goal is he wants to get 4 or 5 wins. He wants to fight he wants to get a title, and then he wants to hit another weight class. He wants to be a dual title holder in Fusion for our organization.
Oh, wow.
And then he wants to go to Contender Series or straight to the UFC, and he will. There's no doubt about it.
He's a man on the mission. I got a few moments with him last night, and he was quite. I mean, we had our controversy as well with Tommy going into this fucking night, and he ended up being really polite and reaching out privately, and we settled the waters there. And then last night we had a few words. And he was a respectful dude, man. And he was, I'm going to say he echoing what you said right now. He's going for belts and he's going for wins, and he's a man on a mission, dude, to be fair. And I think his mission is legitimate.
He trains hard. He trains consistently. He's in a gym full of killers, and I mean, but he's Montana tough. Let's not forget what produced the foundation of that fighter. He's a 3-time state champion wrestler out of Great Falls. I mean, he comes from good stock. His dad's a pro fighter, had a very successful fight career with Joe Mcmillen. That guy was mess with. Even now, I people should think twice about messing with Joe Mcmillen now, because that guy, I mean, he was just a tough guy. So.
Yeah. Good stock then, and that usually really helps with fighters along in their longevity, if they have a strong stock hold to come from, because once shit gets crazy, like with fame and everything starts to turn up, people get weird, man.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that good head on your shoulders and having someone experienced in that world, but that has your fucking back. He has all the right players in his corner.
He does. And that's one of the things too, so we had Tommy out here a year ago, and we had extenuating circumstances. It didn't go well, but he was out here a little bit more on his own. And having that calming presence. Can you imagine what it would be like to have Tim Welch and all of the experience that he
Oh
has.
man, in all fairness to every coach out there, Tim Welch in my eyes is probably the best coach. And this is the best MMA coach out there. And that's because, you look at his resume and you hear, the legends like Sonnen talk about him. Sonnen said, dude, that guy would come in as a student on when you drop in on other gyms and shit, come in as a student, and then all of a sudden all the coaches are listening to Tim.
Yeah.
What does that fucking tell you?
Well, he's one of the originals that went over to the MMA lab and started, making ground over there. So he's really the person who helped to pave the way for guys like Sean O'Malley.
He's helping us, and little does anyone know that privately, Tim has been helping me in the show, and giving us little pointers and guidance, and I really I have a lot of respect for Tim. I think he's a super super nice guy, and he's genuine as they come.
But I think that's one of the great things about our organization is that we've had a lot of people come through like that. We've had the privilege of having a lot of really good fighters fight in our cage, and that's our number one goal is to help fighters get to the next level. That's what we're here for. We want to work ourselves into the position of being the number one feeder show in the Northwest and be able to, and we've sent people to LFA, to Invicta, to Bellator.
How many fighters have been in UFC from your fucking roster? I think 4, isn't there? 3, 4?
At least. And we've had UFC fighters that are making a rerun going back, like Roxanne Modafferi. When she was on The Ultimate Fighter, she was doing really well. Then she had a couple of losses, and they said, you need to get a couple of wins and you're back in. She came here, she fought, and got herself right back into another season of The Ultimate Fighter, and then finished out her career with the UFC.
Speaking of Ultimate Fighter and Contender and stuff, do you think Marnik's going to get another shot?
Marnik just announced that she's going to
LFA.
She's got
on the 23rd, I think.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I missed that.
Yeah, she's in Minnesota on the 23rd, actually.
Yeah.
Shout out Marnik, dude. She's a fucking thug, dude.
She is. And I think if you ask Marnik, she'll tell you that she learned a lot from that fight, and you get opportunities to do that. Sometimes you learn. If you haven't ever had a loss, can you really say that you've been tested and learned everything that you can learn?
Right.
We learn more from our losses than we do our wins, hands down.
And 2022 was the year of left head kicks, to be honest.
Fuck yeah, man. No shit, dude.
It just so happened,
Speaking of that, man, 286 was a fucking shitty fucking show. Overall, I hated it yesterday's show.
It was boring. We were at
So
the halftime
fucking
sports
boring,
bar, and
dude.
it was just I don't know. I was watching more of that.
Shout out halftime.
That Arkansas and Kansas game. What's the Arkansas? Yeah, Razorbacks versus Kansas.
Yeah, me
That
too.
fucking game
I
was
was
good.
watching more basketball than I did the UFC show. That's how fucking boring the show was.
It was that midday fight
And
start.
maybe
at
that's
noon
what it
and
was.
shit,
It was an
you know what I mean?
atmospheric fucking environment or something. It's just like maybe I'm not
You know,
ready
people
for
are trying
fights at fucking
Yeah,
12
people are
a.m.
People are trying to go to the halftime to fucking gamble, eat food. You know what I mean? We're trying to get loud for the fights, and we're like the only table watching it.
I was completely unaware. I was in fight day mode and had no idea, but I did hear that it was kind of underwhelming.
It was, man.
Yeah, the Justin Gaethje fight was good.
That was the dopest part of the whole fight, and just because Justin he was an underdog, man.
I saw the pictures from that fight, the aftermath. Holy.
Yeah, buddy was split.
Yeah.
Wesley Kill Eagle says, "Good, great show last night, Fusion."
Yeah.
Wes came out. It was
Yeah,
good to see you.
I saw Wes last night. I appreciated seeing him there. Wes is doing a great job, working hard to be putting on more fights and provide more opportunities for fighters.
He's a great guy, man.
We're building a really good relationship with them, and want to continue to do that. Just working together to help build each other up. That's really industry wide. That's what we need to be doing. It's too
Absolutely
small, it's not mainstream enough, and everything that everybody can do to work together. Yeah, there's always going to be competitive banter.
Yes,
that's part.
I love that you said it like that. Competitive banter, man. I fucking like that a lot, man.
Well, so I'll throw this out there. One of the things that I've been working on in the background, because it's been needed. We are putting together for Fusion Fight League a code of conduct policy, and it's going to cover our employees. It's going to cover our fighters that are any fighter that's contracted to fight for us. It's going to fall under a code of conduct. We're going to spell it out. It's going to be pretty straightforward, And you know, I mean, fighters are going to go at each other a little bit, but there are certain things that are off limits that we're not going to tolerate because it's not what we stand for. So it's just making it clear, making it a policy, and then enforcing it across.
I was just going to say, is it include fines or maybe, you know, suspensions, or, you know?
It will be the first time somebody does something that's in violation of the policy, they'll get a cease and desist. And if another incident takes place, I will pull them from the card. I don't care if they've sold 2 tables or 200 tables. I will pull them from the card because
it should help clean up a lot of mess then, dude. Yeah, I think that's a great move. Personally, I think it's great to have competitive banter. You know, we're a media outlet. We like to cause a little shit ourselves, but we understand that ultimately this is people's lives and these are people's monies and businesses on the fucking line. And some of that shit gets so out of line that people lose sight of actually what's important.
There are so many moving pieces and parts to what we do. And it's hard because there are so many things happening at one time. And like a lot of times something will happen. And when in the past I'd be super reactionary and maybe on it like that, now I've learned to stop, hit the pause button, gather all of the information. It's amazing to me how many people want to throw an opinion out there that have half the facts. They'll get one side of the story. They won't get the other side of the story. And I learned being a cop that you cannot do that. That's what makes the difference between a good cop and a shitty cop.
Facts.
A good cop is one who's going to get all of the information, gather all, and let that make the decision of who's getting arrested and who's not. Whereas somebody who comes in with an automatic preconceived notion of what's going to happen, that does not serve anybody well. So I guess that's one thing that I would throw out there to people is that, you know, if you're an armchair quarterback out there or you think you know what's going on, make sure, gather all the information, talk to both. If you haven't had a conversation with both sides of it, you don't have a right to be throwing your 2 cents out there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think the code of conduct and shit is going to fly super well for you. I think it's going to go overall in the future. It's going to help a lot of your advancements for fighters, because it's going to clean up a fucking already nice promotion. I've said it before and I said it before again, and I'm going to continue to say I liked Fusion, and I still do like Fusion. Any of the bullshit that was online was, you know, like fucking people throwing opinions around. You know what I mean?
Or assumptions.
Or assumptions. What assumption mean? You know, it makes an ass out of you and me. You know what I mean? And that's what happens a lot of the times.
So, and there's a perfect example, because in the past, I would have jumped right on that and been like, burning up my fingers. And instead, I was like, pause, you know, don't, you know, and what did I do? I reached out directly.
You were awesome about it, man.
So
awesome about it.
I'm not going to be reactionary like that. I would rather respond instead of react. And, you know, again, I get all the information and say what my feelings are, learn what your guys' feelings are, and figure out how to move forward in a constructive way. It's way too easy to sit back and throw rocks with half the information. And
it's easy to spiral, man. Yeah.
I don't have any respect for somebody who does that they just want to throw rocks with having, you know, none of the information. It's not called for.
Right. We have a bunch of comments. Let's catch up here with some of these, Levi.
The code of conduct, is that directed at a certain fighter, or is it just happened enough where it's just time to do it?
No, it's you know, too many incidences across the board, and one of the things that I've always strived. So one of the things that pisses me off is I get stuck in the middle of people saying, like, I get it from both sides. Like, this side thinks I'm favoring this person, and this side thinks I'm favoring this person. And they're both chewing my ass at the same time simultaneously. I'm like, well, my goal is I want to treat everybody fairly. I want to treat everybody the same. And for the people that I have let down and given a little bit of special treatment to, those are the people that stab me in the back the hardest. And so it's everybody. For us to be a good promotion, we have to be fair and non-biased. We can't take sides. We can't take favoritism. We're not going to favor the hometown fighters. We're not going to favor the extreme couture fighters. When stuff happens, we look at it, we recognize the problem, we learn from it, and we grow and move forward. We institute new policies, we make changes, and we put in safeguards. And sometimes things don't go exactly, so you readjust and fix it and move forward. That's where my heart is. I want to treat fighters as if how I would want to be treated if I was fighting. Because again, I have fought.
Yes.
I have coached fighters. I've had a gym. I've now ran a promotion. I've done everything except manage fighters. And I try and look at it from everybody's point of view. And if we can't be unbiased and treat everybody fairly, then we can't continue to be a promotion. We just can't. And which is another reason why we brought in the State Athletic Commission. They can oversee things. We had a situation happen with weights last night on one of our on weigh-ins on Friday with one of our bouts. We had a situation with weights, and that is why we bring in the State Athletic Commission. And Wyoming has been awesome. They are very good. They're flexible enough to work with us, but they do not let us cross any boundaries.
Dude, that's good, man. I didn't know that Wyoming was I didn't know anything about the commission actually being here.
Yeah, every show that we do now is sanctioned. Every Fusion Fight League show is sanctioned through the Wyoming State Athletic Commission. Will Tenaccio was the commissioner last night, and he just does a great job. Nick Meeker.
Rumor has it Montana is currently, I know a few different people that are currently in the process of trying to get Montana commissioned straight out of the process. I heard it's a fucking mess, though.
Yeah, okay, so I'll weigh in on that. I've got some pretty strong opinions about that. That has come and gone for that keeps getting brought up periodically. And, if it ever happens, it happens. A state athletic commission can be something that's really great for our sport. And a state athletic commission, if done improperly, can put us all out of business.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they can price us right out of business. And there are some states that you can't really put on fights because of it. So there is not the profit margins in fights like people think. We don't.
That's good to know. I want, as an owner and an operator of a decently sized and decently famous fucking promotion, right? What, on can you offer insight on what it takes to get a show off the ground?
Well, so a lot of it depends on the size of the show. Let's just look at an average show. You're dealing with multiple fighters. You're dealing with travel. You're dealing with hotel rooms. You've got the expense of your equipment. You got to have a cage or a ring. You've got marketing expenses, making posters, any of those things.
Yep.
Everything has a cost attached to it. So even just a basic, you've got rent of the venue. If you're doing it right, you've got insurance, you've got medical insurance for the fighters. You got to provide security.
You got sponsorship deals that you have to deal with each relationship on,
and you got to maintain that relationship and make sure all those sponsors are getting their money's worth.
Speaking of that, I gave the same advice to Wesley. I'm going to give to you. I was looking at your promotion last night, and do you know what would be really good for you on landscaping? You have inside corner fucking sponsors, right? You got your Miller Lite, your fucking White Claw, and all that shit. You should do it on the outside, and you should get padded fucking sponsorships on the out, and fucking that's more landscape that you could offer for your sponsors and shit. And
we are in the process of redoing all of our sponsor proposals, and we have recognized that there is a lot of sellable real estate on.
There's a ton of landscape that I was looking at your shit.
We've got openings for instant replay sponsors. We could get a sponsor that sponsors our Fight for a Cause benefit.
Yes,
all of those things. It's but it's economically kind of tough out there right now. There's not an abundance of money.
Yeah, dude. Inflation.
Yeah. So we were talking about the expenses of putting on a show. Well, that's just small scale. Now let's go larger scale, where you're doing video production and stream and having to have cage side commentators, and you're flying. I pointed it out last night at the show. I didn't realize we had 8 different states represented on that fight card last night.
Insane, dude.
We had, just throwing numbers out there, we had $5,000 worth of hotel and Airbnbs last night. We had $3,000 in airplane tickets.
Yep.
We had probably another close to $1,000 in fuel for fighters driving. How many staff members we had at that event and everything. So it adds up pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely, man. The dollars and cents kind of run out when you start packing shit in together, man.
And then people will say how many people are in the stands, and they do their own rough math and they calculate it. So we're working on the final numbers for the show last night, but the one number that I've come up with that's I know is pretty close is about 450 people in the stands last night. About 450 people. Now, I'm looking up at it, and I would have thought there was 600.
Easy. That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah. So we sold 200 tickets online. We sold 209.
They were stopping people from coming in.
I
That's
almost
how
didn't make it
fucking.
in.
That's how packed. So people that don't understand, we weren't in the normal fucking Four Seasons arena. We had a bunch of shit going on in Great Falls. It was just
Yeah,
a
there's a gun
crazy,
show and an art
crazy,
show in
crazy
the Four
fucking
Seasons.
weekend for Great Falls. Well, we show up and we're like, I don't know, we're pretty early into the show, and we noticed people at the door were like, "Yeah, you can't come in, dude. We're so full right now." So the show had its controversy, but sold the fuck out, dude. Like it was packed and it was loud as fuck. Like that venue,
That place was roaring.
being in a different venue than we're used to, it was so fucking loud.
That was one thing I knew, and I said it before the event. I said, the energy feel in this place is going to be over the top.
Oh, it was too.
And Great Falls is that kind of a crowd anyway. So Great Falls
Has a notorious fucking reputation for fight crowds.
Yeah, it was legit standing room only. I was one of them. I was like right where the fighters walked out.
Yeah, people
seen
were.
everybody
Yeah,
coming
people were standing. That's how fucking packed it
Ty
was.
was like, "What are you doing over here?" I'm like, "I'm just chilling." Dude.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, dude, bro."
um,
It's like, just looking for weekly bus t-shirts. Shout out to Randy.
overall, the production was really good too. Obviously you didn't get to use all your shit because of the venue that it was at. I mean, it definitely had a different feel of what you could do and what you had to restrict from doing because of the venue size. But it still looked fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah, we basically cut our production budget. For video, for sound, lights, and screens, just the physical assets of sound, lights, and screens. We spend about $15,000 a show on just renting that equipment.
Yeah.
So this show was more like $7,500, $7,800.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So, and just for the record, guys, I'm very transparent. I probably am a little too public facing with I've got nothing to hide. If somebody,
I like your approach. David's the same way. Feldman's super open like that, and I think it's important.
Anybody ever wants to sit down with me and take a walk through our budget and see where money came in from and where money went out to, it's like so many people. I'm going to start my own promotion. Good luck with that. Have at it. I hope it goes well for you, because it's a whole ball of stress. Jeff Cisneros said it best from Sparta Combat. People ask him what he does for a living. He says, "I'm a professional gambler." So, last night's show was about a $40,000 budget to put on that show. And you don't know how many people are going to show up, because the really crazy thing about Montana is it's last minute purchases. Very few people buy their tickets early.
Pre-sales are,
walk up crowd. And
there'll be a sale and they're like, "I'll just wait."
Yeah. No, it's weird. That is true. That's super true.
And it makes it really stressful, because you're like right up to the last minute. Am I going to be able to pay all the bills?
Jake said, was it a bigger production than Seasons Meetings? No.
Oh fuck no.
No. Seasons
Meetings was incredible, man. And we really never got a chance to follow up after that. And we did our own highlight video and shit for Fusion, but like Seasons Meetings was fucking fun.
But we also had to go to Mountain Force the week
afterwards.
2 days later.
Yeah.
Like that. I didn't want to get too far off the fight card. There was that fight I'm looking at right here. Tim Curry.
Oh yeah, dude.
Man, he was hyped up. He's like, "Man, I took that on such a short notice. I barely got it out here."
Tim Curry was a dog too, man.
Yes, and he that was a great fight. And Tim, he did fight really well. We'll be excited to have him back anytime.
Oh, he's excited to be back. Yeah.
And he's going to get plugged in with some. He wants to work his ground a lot more. I spent some time talking to him last night at the after party.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm a wrestler, but I was letting these things go."
He wants to work his jiu-jitsu more. I pointed him to a really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu school, in Idaho, so he can in Boise, so he'll get hooked.
Is that where he's from? Is Idaho then?
Yeah, Boise. Yeah.
Yep.
And look at the level of fighter that he fought, because Jay, there's one of Tim's fighters. Jay Cruel Jack was a monster. We knew he was going to be. So, I think that was what a good fight to kick off the night.
Yeah, he was. We got a moment with him at the after party, and
I'm gonna have to watch it. I missed it. I wasn't there till about 5. So
we questioned him for a little bit, and he's really, really excited about advancing his fighting. He said he took about a 3-year break, and then he took this fight 2 days or some shit notice. And
he said maybe 24 hours. He's like, "I barely got it, and we had to head out." Basically.
Yeah, that was one fight. This card. So usually it's the amateur fights that are falling apart and we're re-putting them together. One of the biggest heartbreaks that we go through, especially the matchmakers, is we will start and we'll get our fight card put together initially, and it is a thing of art. It's a work of art. It's beautiful, and then you just sit back and watch fighters fall off and watch and sometimes every once in a while it ends up being a better fight put together, but sometimes not. Sometimes the people that are stepping up last minute and filling in, they're behind the curve already. So
yeah,
this fight was different. We only had the one amateur fight that dropped out. All of our other amateur fights held with no problem.
That's badass.
But it was the pro card. Yeah, we had injuries. We had a broken foot. We had so many different things happen, and our pro fights shifted around and changed shape so many times that it was. And people don't understand what that's like, having to deal with
the stress of that is probably fucking, because I'm a panicker. So when shit like that happens, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine the stress.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's because it's your reputation that's on the line.
Yes, and if you can't get it solid, how are you going to sell tickets if it looks like it's being moved so much? But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. People showed up, and the show ended up being amazing. It's probably one of my favorite shows that I've watched live, coming from MMA, dude. And I'm not a big MMA guy. I like boxing more. I like bare knuckle more. But MMA to me,
I like Seasons Beatings a lot.
I like Season Beatings. That was fun too. Yeah. But last night's card, it wasn't necessarily the overall. I love the environment it was last night. It was a really cool environment, man.
So yeah. Last time I was on the podcast, it was pointed out to me that I was pretty low key, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be cocky. I don't want to
be more boisterous. They say
I don't know. It's not my personality, but today is different. I'm gonna call it for what it is, because sometimes I don't feel like we give ourselves enough credit, and Fusion Fight League has been bringing it fight card wise. Our cards. When is the last time we had a fight card that sucked? I said it on a video that I made on a Facebook Live that I made here last week. When is the last time that people showed up to a disappointing card?
Fusion has leveled up every fucking moment. Yeah, every fucking time.
Going back to Ryan Hall being our matchmaker. Let's go back and look at.
Shout out Ryan. Yeah, shout out Ryan. Dog. I really like Ryan a lot, man.
Go back and look at the Rising Stars tournament that we did. Look at that. That took place over an entire year. Look at the quality of that.
Is that the Jessica Borga? Or no? Who was?
No, but we had all the amateur. We did the amateur tournament for all men's and women's divisions, took place over the entire year, and it ended with Seasons Beatings 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we had people coming from Florida, from Washington. We had, that's the one where Biscuit, Benavides made his splash and things like that, and so. I really personally think, and I'm not taking credit for that, because we have matchmakers that work super, super hard, and everybody gets to sit back and armchair quarterback the job that they do. And this is what I pointed out the other day on our Fusion page. You cannot look at a fight on paper and think that you know whether that's going to be a good fight or not. You've got to go watch footage. You've got to really look at who that person fought. Okay, maybe that person has a 1-3 record, but who were their 3 losses against?
Right.
And what was the quality of those 3 fights? Because those 3 fights might have been bangers. That it's so. And I think so. There was people that were going to be critical of the Amari Sangsabah fight last night.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that one.
That fight was a war. That fight
was awesome, actually.
And we knew that was going to be a good battle. I knew that people were not giving that enough credit.
Thing,
it doesn't take anything away from Amari.
Right.
That was you can't say, well, that's a sign that Amari is. No, Amari leveled up so much from his first pro fight. A lot of people commented.
Was his first fight Season Beating? Pro one? Yeah.
Yeah, that was remember he came out in the with the Santa hat and stuff like that,
passing out presents and shit.
And when you look at how he fought on that first fight versus how he fought last night, he leveled up multiple times.
I think his talent was on display last night. But
Jamal Davis
he's a dog,
He is
bro. Yeah,
We
dude.
knew it was going to be a good competitive fight, and that's one of those that you look at it on paper and you think, well, what's a 1-0 fighter doing fighting a 1-3 fighter? It's like, no, it was a good fight.
He was Jamal Davis, you said, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jamal Davis.
He had no quit, man. He had no quit. You got.
I feel like if he brought the intensity.
You hit the ground, there's constant resistance the whole time. So that's what it's you don't get that rest time.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's where I think Amari was, being exposed by Jamal last night is after all that ground and all that, he had several takedown attempts and some were successful, some weren't. But after where they were on the ground, you could see it in his eyes, like, fuck, I cannot finish this guy.
Well,
and
Jamal's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
He was good at surviving, I think.
There you go. Hell yeah.
He defended well because Amari was on the attack pretty much from the moment go.
One thing I'm going to throw out there, though, you get to know the fighters' different personalities, working with them and everything like that. And win, lose, or draw, I do have to say that Amari has been one of the classiest fighters to work with. He has been agreeable, easygoing, polite, well-mannered, respectful when he has something that he needs to address. Amari is one of those guys that working with him is a pleasure.
That's cool.
I look forward to having him on cards, and that makes me want to back him all that much more. I don't want to have favorites, but I don't want to ever give people preferential treatment, and I'm going to be very careful about that, especially moving forward, because I'm learning my lesson. But the one thing that I will say is that there's no doubt I'll be very clear about the fighters that I really enjoy working with, as opposed to the fighters that are a pain in my ass.
We haven't had no time with Amari, but he seems like a nicer guy.
Got to get him here. And
I shook his hand last night, and I wished him luck, and that was the most conversation I've really had with him. I liked listening to his post-fight interview with you, and I liked how polite everyone was. Ain't nobody talked shit last night, and I was expecting a few words to be said, but nobody did it. It was really polite, and people just were happy in their wins and their moments, and I really enjoyed watching that.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
I
expecting.
didn't know what to expect, so I just.
Yeah, neither did I. You walk in, and everyone. It's no secret that we're friends with Kai, and Kai has issues with a bunch of people, but like, that nobody mentioned anybody. It was really fucking neat, and it was more enjoyable for me to watch it like that when there was no fucking issues. I was like, yeah, this is way more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's more enjoyable for me too.
Yes, it was great. So I wanted to compliment that as well. That was one keynote that I wanted to bring into this episode, is that the lack of shit talking during the post-fight interviews was fucking pleasurable. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about this. All of this is what's caused me. People say, well, are you going to react to this? Are you going to react to that? Yes, I am, in time. And I'm going to do it measured, and I'm going to think it through, and I'm going to do it the right way. And that's why we're putting together the code of conduct policy. And again, competitive banter is fun.
Encouraged.
We like that. Yeah, we like that in MMA. That's part of what makes this fun. But there is things that go overboard. And I'll tell you, part of that with that policy is it's not just going to include what you say on social media or what you say in public. It's also going to be what you DM people. Anything that you put towards somebody, you make threats or you say something inappropriate to somebody through a DM, and that gets brought to us, and we can look at that. That's a representation. If you're contracted to fight for us on that card,
fuck yes,
are
okay,
a representation of our company. And it's just those are things that we can't tolerate.
You don't want your brand attached to negative behaviors. And we get that a lot, because we have some cleaning up that we like to do. Is like, we have a lot of changes that we're trying to do, clean up our image. We used to smoke weed and shit on the show a lot, and we cut that out just to clean some shit up. But
we always wanted our show to be a family friendly show. We want kids to be able to come, because they're the next generation of fighters. And it's that's the reason why we have radio edit music. It's the reason why our ring girls dress appropriately. We do our fighter prayer in the cage. That is not just for fluff.
That's good to know. I never really picked that up, I guess, but that's cool that you pointed it out.
I only noticed the radio edit last night. I was like, wait a second. I was like, oh, that's edited. All right, cool. I was like, that's right.
And we tell the fighters in the fighter meeting, you get a chance to talk on the microphone, please don't swear.
My son doesn't go to the fights. Matter of fact, I made it a house rule, because he's such a fucking gamer, that on fight nights he's not allowed to game anymore. He has to be part of the family and watch fights and shit. I brought him last night, and he fucking loved the show, man.
Good. Yeah.
Had an awesome fucking time.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't expect anybody to be perfect. I swear. Yeah, yes, I'm very clear that I'm a Christian, but I'm not perfect, and nobody's going to be perfect. We are going to make mistakes.
That's true.
And when we make a mistake, I don't have any problem with somebody saying, "Hey, might want to take a look at something." Let us know about it and talk to us about it, and we'll come to a way to fix it and make it better. But do it respectfully.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, I am shit full of people being disrespectful. I won't tolerate it. I won't put up with it. And I get to choose ultimately who fights on my show and who doesn't.
100%. That makes sense.
Oh, and little Peyton was into every fight, cheered her little heart out last night. Shout out to little Peyton.
Yep. Hey, and I got to throw a shout out for Wes. Wes is the only other organization that I know of that does fundraisers, and that's a big part of our show, our Fight for a Cause benefit, and he does his benefit.
What was your fight for your cause last night? I missed it.
Brian Capan.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got prostate cancer and has been really having a rough time. We raised $10,000 for him last night.
Let's go, man. That's badass, man.
Yeah, and so I got to say this too. I am not Fusion Fight League. I'm not Fusion Fight League. Fusion Fight League is made up of a whole lot of individuals, a lot of people who put in a lot of time, effort, and energy for very little. We don't make that much money right now. We're all putting in a lot of sweat equity trying to get this to go to the next level. Instead of lining our pockets, we put it into sound, lights, screens.
That's us.
Flights,
That's
and stuff
exactly
like that.
our business model with the show.
I got Ryan sitting over there across from us, hardest working guy in my company, setting up.
Sidekick number one, huh?
He is an OG from the very beginning, and it's so when people say things about Fusion Fight League, they're not talking about me. They're talking about everybody in our organization.
Here you go, sir.
And
Water.
Thank you. And we take this stuff seriously. It's a lot of people putting in a lot of effort. We've got Levi, who's been with us for a long time, that does our production and our marketing and things. A lot of people like that bust their asses to make a good show.
And then for videos, I seen Paris Brad and Andy out there last night. Andy Southland.
What's that, Ryan? Who you saying?
Don't forget about Chad too.
Oh yeah, Chad Korb. Chad busting his tail doing all of the graphics that we have. Bryce Turcott. All of those guys. It just, there's for us to put on a show between our people and then the venue people. It's about 60 people that are working a show.
You got a machine working now at this point.
And Moxie was doing good announcing.
No,
She's killing it last
She
night.
gets better and better every show. She works really hard, and it's hard to be a female announcer and break ground. And I'll tell you something.
I think she's the first one I've ever seen.
Yeah. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to, and so she's the first one. The reason why I have stuck with her is because of her work ethic, how hard she tries, and she is more critical of herself and how she does than anybody.
That will make her better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time that she did a show, she had a rough show, and she said I sounded like somebody choking a rabbit. She's studying, she's doing voice lessons, she's doing all those things, and I really got to give her a shout out because she was here. She's had a death in the family. Her grandfather passed away, and she was at his who she loved a lot, and that funeral was at 2:00. And then
condolences.
She was doing the show last night. That's professionalism. That's stepping up and doing your job.
That's awesome. You wouldn't have known that she was in grieving. You know what I mean? Because she put on a smile.
Yeah,
and nice.
She showed out for sure.
Yeah.
There's another fighter I want to talk about is Daniel Molina.
What a beast, dude.
He said he got the call on Monday and he was here. What he told me is he's like I came on short notice again. He's like, next time I just want a fair warning. he's
had a few of those, but that is one of the things that we appreciate. But
that's what I said. I was like, at least they know you'll show up and get down. You know what I mean?
And he has a great attitude. He's great to work with, and that's why I don't think there should ever be any champions are made in the off season. You have to train, be ready, because you never know when that phone is going to ring. So one of our cage side commentators, Justin Jane, he is a UFC fighter, and how he got his shot was, especially during COVID when everything was going crazy, Justin was available. He was always available to be a short notice fighter and step up on a moment's notice when the UFC called. And that's why he got to where he was. And he makes such a great commentator for us because of it, and because of his experience. And that's why we ran with him again and again. So really super happy to have him and his experience. And he does a really good job interviewing the fighters. So that's, I guess, getting back to the original point. Fighters should always be training. You should always be on your game, always be ready.
Are we still talking about Molina?
Yeah, we're just talking about the short notice step up.
He's a fucking dude. He's a heart, dude. You know what I mean? He's quick to jump on anything that is. I like people that's on the moment's go. He's ready.
Yeah, he said, I get the call. I show up every time.
So let's talk about this, because this is something that we were talking about earlier. It was a good point of conversation about how fighters have changed these days and how the fight world has changed. So amateur records don't mean anything. They don't. That's where you get your experience. Once you go pro, there's so many fighters that are working so hard to pad their records. They want to have their first 4 or 5 fights be wins, and they're being so picky about who they fight because, hey, if I get 5 wins, I can be in Dana White's Contender Series. And I get it. You want to take smart fights because pro fights matter. So when you go pro, you absolutely do want to take smart fights. But it's at the same time, My respect is for the people that really paved the way, the Tim Welches, the Leo Berciers, the guys that stepped up and fought anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. And
dogs, bro. Those guys are dogs, bro.
Those are the guys that and they were tough. They had that mentality. They had no fear, and it didn't hurt them at all. So, you know, if you want,
and
the thing that is craziest to me is that the fighters that are the pickiest about getting their matchups are the ones that are running their mouth the most about challenging other people's matchups. It's like that. No, I mean, if you're gonna talk about somebody else's matchup and not getting a good fight, then you better not be one of those people that's the hardest person to find fights for. You better be one of those people that has that attitude that I will fight anywhere, anytime, any place, like a Leo Bercier. That's unless you have that mentality when it comes to.
Do you know what? It's almost a double-edged sword for your growth. I think because that you're now getting bigger into like a super large promotion now, right? Like you guys are moving you're across different states now. You guys are getting bigger. So when people think of fusion fight, and especially pros, I think they're just like you're saying, they're being so careful because they know that your promotion is actually a really good promotion and it has a lot of eyes on it. So if they lose in that promotion, or, you know, not even if they lose or just something happens in your promotion, that's going to affect them for the rest of their fucking lives. So, you know, I think you're going to see a lot more of people being really choosy and picky as you get bigger because of how large you are now and how much it matters if they lose.
Yeah. Well, and we're getting to the point where we have a lot of sway we've built a lot of really good relationships out there. I have traveled. I've been to a lot of gyms. I took a year and just went to a lot of different places and met a lot of different people. I've worked with a lot of different promotions, and we talk to each other. So, you know, when a promoter has a bad experience with someone and they let the other promotions know, hey, listen, this is what we dealt with. You might want to watch out.
Are you still pretty tight with David?
Yeah. Actually, I just talked to him last week and had a really good conversation with him. And we're looking forward to the next BKFC show. We'll be helping out with that. And BKFC has been so phenomenal to work with. I love.
Oh, they're fucking family to us now, man. At this point,
so much from them. You know, they have been one of the biggest influential forces in how our show has grown. Because that was one of the first things that I did. That's one of the first opportunities when I started a year and a half ago when I went full time. One of the first trips that I took was to go out to Philadelphia and meet with all of the staff of BKFC and work to bring
100% awesome people, dude.
I just sitting in their command center. That's the reason why I have an office.
How is it, dude? I want to be there. I want to go to that studio, that little building they have there.
Yeah, their podcast studio is really cool. And you know, Nate Shook, he's the matchmaker. We love Nate, dude. He's cool as hell. He's a super brain. He's very old school he's got this monster whiteboard that goes from wall to wall and every event and then all of the matchups for that event written in dry
what
and he'll, you know, write people in and take people out and move people over to here, and it's
like a mad scientist.
It's all on a dry erase board, and it's
like those boards that connect the murders.
Yeah. The future murders on. That's funny, dog.
Yeah, that's what caused us to go out and get an office, and that's actually how I'm setting up our office too. It's we're doing our dry erase boards are going to be black, and it's you know, right with colored pens.
That's badass.
Color code everything, and it's going to be right there where we can see it and organize it, because we're just trying to get more organized and do a better job. The growing pains. Nobody wrote a book on how to do this.
No, I think that's important that motherfuckers need to understand is that every single person involved in all this fight culture, we are now, Montana is playing catch up. So we're just now learning all of this shit. You know what I mean? And it's not that we haven't been involved for the last 30, 40 years. We just now are getting to a level where we're bringing it to a national fucking level. And now we're all moving in the same motions. And it feels like, you know, people just don't get it. They're like, well, why don't you do this? Dude, we're fucking learning, bro. All of us are. Every single one of us, fighters, promotion, media, all of us are learning. We're doing our fucking best.
Yeah, I fumbled bad, but the only thing I can do is learn better. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys go back and watch BKFC Knucklemania 3, you'll hear my dumb ass on
my
there.
My poor brother, dude, he about fucking shot himself. He was so mad. He's like, bro, I fucked up bad, dude.
Yeah, I was ready to order my own Uber and just say, fuck these guys and just leave them.
I cannot stand going back and watching our shows and watching myself on the microphone, because I can't put two words together. Inside true fact, I hate being on the microphone. It's
You do well, man.
Moxie's going to be doing more and more and more of it. I'm going to be doing less and less of it because I've never wanted to be the guy.
I liked seeing you, what you did last night. You watched and observed most of the night, and I was watching you and how you were moving your ship, and
it definitely seemed as you took
the captain role. Yeah. Yep. Instead of being
showed
the
up after
host,
the fight,
you were the captain, and I liked watching the ship float that way.
Yeah, I don't want to be the center of attention. That's never been what I'm in this for. It's not about me. It's, again, this is a team. This is what makes us. I wouldn't be where I am without the guys like Ryan and Levi and Chad and all those guys that put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. So I've been doing this for, I bet it's close to 14, 15 years that I've been putting on fights now. And
Jesus,
I have seen I've seen an awful lot of promotions come and go. I've seen an awful lot of fighters come and go. So it's kind of one of those things where, people can be critical, but we're still here.
That's one thing that I can honestly say is not only have you grown tremendously as a company and taken a lot of the right moves that I just see that are going to work, but you guys are consistently there. You're a constant. And whether people like it or not, you're a fucking constant in the fight world.
People always want to bitch. There's people that want to be a part of the problem, people that want to be part of the solution. I'm starting to turn a corner. This is where it's time to start having
Jake
fun.
told me to smile. So
I think this is where we're going to start having fun. It's, we just have great things coming up. We are about to have an incredible fight card in Bozeman.
Okay, perfect. You brought it up. All right. Yes. I wanted you to talk about it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be our first show in the Brick Breeden Field House. We're going to Missoula. We are pushing out our Missoula date because they decided to have a Grizz football game on the same night that we had our fight schedule.
Oh no.
So we're not going to compete with Grizz football.
No. We've watched it before, actually. We watched what promotion competed with BKFC. Competed with both the college nights the last time they were here. They had both fucking games, playoff games for fucking, we watched the stands because we're like, yo, where's everybody at? And then we had to think, we had that concert in Billings. We had 2 fucking college games on, and we're like, dude.
And of course, everything's 3 hours away. You can't make
dude.
in one night.
Yeah. So Bozeman, our main event fight is the welterweight title. Gage Saunders is defending.
Let's go, Gage, baby.
He's defending against Michael Garcia, and that is going to be Michael's fought for us before. He is a beast.
Where's he out of?
I don't want to mess it up, and it's so hard to keep everybody exactly straight.
No, we get it, man.
Let me pull Michael.
Gage is fucking.
Oh, shit, we're way behind.
He is on it.
Peyton says hello, by the way.
He's on a fucking terror right now. What is he on? Like a 4-win streak right now, and he's just taking fights, dude. Like every time I turn around, Gage is in another fucking fight. He has no time to fucking. He just moves. I'm really proud of Gage, and because he did take that time off for about a year to focus on Marnik and all that shit, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm turning up, bro. And now look at him. This is a belt match, right?
Yeah. Defending title. Yeah, he's out of Idaho. He is his record is 6-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he is a beast. So we're really looking forward to that fight. Gage is on a terror.
He is, dude. He is.
And Jax, thanks for the stars.
For those that don't know, Gage is a big 170er. He is.
He's huge. Me and him are the same weight, but he looks double the man than I am, and we're the same fucking weight. It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
We have a legit superstar over here, and
we do.
And nobody actually knows it, but we got Billy Wagner in the house. He's in the audience right now. He's chilling. Billy's going to be on the show after Terrill here, but I just wanted to let everyone know that we do have somebody that he's a ghost in the world, but we all know he's a superstar. And but he's such a modest guy, and I just wanted to give him some shine while he's back there chilling.
That mic is open if you wanted to say hello.
Hey, I got to be honest. The first couple times I ran across Billy, I was a little bit starstruck. I'm like,
yeah, dude, he's the man, dude.
And he told me, I kind of like to fight MMA one day. And I'm like, please, please.
They are lit, dude.
Billy is on next.
Love to have you.
And
did you fucking hear that? You're hearing this. You're hearing this live, people. This is live.
Billy coming to Billy Fight League here soon.
If you didn't hear it because of the background, Billy just told Terrill he reiterated what Terrill just said and said, I do want to fight MMA on a Fusion card because Fusion is fucking lit. That's what he said.
You know, here's the tough part though, because where we are now is when you fight pro in one combat sport, boxing, MMA, kickboxing, anything that if you fight pro, like you could be a pro MMA fighter, you are going to fight pro if you go box.
Yep.
And so when he comes in, his first fight will be a pro fight for us.
Yeah, it will.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters, dude. Lay anybody in front of that boy, he fucks him up, dude.
Well, and that's where matchmaking makes such a big difference because, you know, with that, like I would not want that. I would not want to pull in a real high level grappler. I want to put in a high level striker and put two strikers against each other and let them bang.
It would fucking be awesome, dude. You know for a fact I'm sitting front for that motherfucker, bro. I hope I get blood on me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good boxers out of Great Falls. It's, you know, I mean, I just guys that I watch training and just, you know, I'm in awe of. I watch them online. I don't know them very well personally, but I mean, just so many big boxing names around here.
Oh yeah, that's my culture. Levi is an MMA guy. I love boxing. Boxing is my motherfucking shit. It's in my heart. I know all the boxers here. I know everything. I know more history of boxing than most motherfuckers around here because I study. Besides my auntie, she might have me. She might have me in everything on that. But she's actually, I'm a protege of her. Everything that I was taught through boxing is through my auntie. To be 1,000%, man. My dad was boxers. I grew up around boxers. You know, I have both of my dads, my stepdad and my biological father, are Golden Glove boxers. It's in my blood. I love it. All my art. But watching the whole fight world come together, Montana.
3 dads that were boxers.
Montana right now is such a fight deep culture between MMA, boxing, and now bare knuckle. Yeah, it's fucking insane.
How great is it that now these guys get an opportunity to show their talent, showcase their skills on the bare knuckle format?
Yes, dude. And you know, BKFC's grown so huge that literally when they outsold UFC in Albuquerque, that tells you the stamp that they're doing right now. And people who don't understand that, Albuquerque is a motherfucking UFC city.
You see him wearing the shirt. He's wearing a Jackson Wink shirt.
Jackson Wink is
I wore Jackson Wink to the fights hat last night.
It's one of the world's premier fucking clubs.
But I found my Warfare hat. So here we go. Kai Stewart. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Kai just jumped on here, and I wanted to showcase BKFC. We got a mat. Kai fights for Fusion, or has in the past for Fusion for Terrill. And it sounds like there's going to be a massive fucking world title fight here in Great Falls. Do you have any thoughts or questions or comments or concerns or anything on that?
No, I don't think that's my place to. I know what's going on there, but I don't think it's my place to talk about it. When Dave Feldman Sr. decides to make that announcement, that's
you know, everything's on the fence. Nothing's been set in stone. It's all rumor mill at this point, but it sounds like something's happening and it's coming here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like coffee and it's brewing.
Exactly. Nothing's been said. Nothing that we don't know actually any of the deets, but we hear it. We know we're in the media. We know a lot of that, and the people don't know. And we hear the works, and it sounds like it's going to be a big fucking fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a crowd pleaser. I think it gives the people what they want.
Yeah,
it's a great opportunity for both of them that are fighting on the card, and get to silence things once and for all.
It will be awesome to just witness it. You know what I mean? As a spectator and as a fan, as a fucking friend of one of them, and it's just gonna be fucking insane, dude. That will be madness. I don't want to take the shine away from Bozeman's card though. I somehow got detoured from that. You got a lineup, you said, and before the show actually got started, you actually said that you're like, this gonna put this card to shame.
Yeah, we got 4 pro fights that we are contracting right now, and just found out there's going to be a 5th, so we'll have 5 pro fights on that card.
Holy shit!
Hell yeah!
And there's going to be I will tell you that the amateur card's going to be really killer as well. Justin Harbison's going to be on that card, which I'm super stoked about. I love Brandon Brisboe is going to be on.
Brandon's cool. Yeah,
it's just really. So I'm told that so far that fight card is significantly better than even last night's fight card.
And you know, last night I just keep saying it was so fucking good. Last night it was so good. I went there and was just like, you know, I always sit there as a critic. I'm a fucking critic. That's in my eyes, that's how I view things. And last night I had no complaints. Zero. I told Terrill that on the phone this morning. I was like, dude, it was fucking awesome, dude.
April 22nd, Bozeman, Montana.
Yep.
Nice.
That's right.
Nice. Dude. And where's that going to be at?
Brick Breeding Fieldhouse, at the university.
Cool,
Oh,
man.
shit,
Cool.
nice.
Our first time there, and then we are going to the Adams Center. We're going back to Boise, Idaho, the Fort
Adams Center, nice.
Missoula?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We're working on Coeur d'Alene. We just, and then we've got our sub promotion that we're doing now, Throwdown Challenger Series. So we're giving people an opportunity to do small venue amateur boxing. And I am currently working with Nate Shook right now. We're trying to finalize the details.
Again, shout out Nate, man. You're a cool ass motherfucker, dude.
Absolutely. So what we're working on right now is doing Toe the Line, which is
I was just going to ask that update too.
Good job, man. All right, dude, you're good. Dude, you're good. You're really good, man. You're bringing the shit up that I wanted to touch on. Levi had it in the fucking low. He was loaded too with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I wanted the update on the Toe the Line.
Yeah, we definitely wanted an update on that.
Yeah, we're working hard on that. We're gonna start getting some of those shows on the schedule, and just it's all about giving fighters more opportunities. BKFC is going to come to Montana one time a year.
Yep.
And so in the in between time, we're giving guys a chance to get out there, new fighters a chance. And right now there is some talk about a way to do amateur bare knuckle in a way that's safer for the fighters. And I don't know how much should be talked about right now, but it's a really cool idea that makes it so that guys can.
Are you going to work with Wes by that? By chance, since he does bare knuckle in some of his promotions.
Well, and we can start adding bare knuckle to our promotion as well too. And where I really want to get going on is bare knuckle MMA and bare knuckle Muay Thai.
See, that's Wes's. Yeah. So that's what leads me into that statement is that you guys going to work tightly together.
We are going to support each other and help each other out.
Cool.
And that's Wes has also made the decision that he's going to start bringing over the Wyoming State Athletic Commission and start sanctioning.
He did say that in the comments. Yeah, he said shout out to Terrill because you seem to link him to that bridge there.
So I got a question then. So you'll have like the BKFC tryouts Northwest? Would that be you then?
Yeah. That's a fantastic question. That is a fantastic.
Definitely turn into that. We have talked about doing tryouts. So the states that we have talked about, now none of this is signed, but the states that we have talked about is for us doing Montana, Wyoming, and possibly Utah and Colorado. So we hopefully covering those states and then doing tryouts for everybody in that area, and just whatever we can do to help and whatever we can do to help BKFC grow. That's we have a lot of love and respect for them.
Awesome. That's exciting shit, man. I think anybody that's in the fight world, not just fans, but anybody like including, fighters, this is going to give you a fucking opportunity to level up fast in a way that, most Montana fighters in the last 20 years had to work their fucking ass off just to get that chance to have. This gives a bunch of opportunity away for free almost. It's nice.
Yep. Just kind of adding to that energy and growing. That's what it's all about. Everybody working together to make this the best that we can.
Is that an exclusive news drop that you dropped on the Weekly Buzz about maybe possibly putting bare knuckle into your show?
Yeah, it's probably the first that I've.
Let's go, dog. That's fucking sick, dude.
We're busting breaking news.
And again, not just bare knuckle boxing, but we want to do bare knuckle Muay Thai and bare knuckle.
That would be so fucking dope.
Bare knuckle Muay Thai. That's fucking.
Yep. And we've discussed it with the commission. The commission will back us for doing bare knuckle on our events, and I won't do anything without the blessing of BKFC because I just want to respect.
David's a fucking man, dude. David, I just want to I'll reiterate, those guys have become like family to us. We reach out to them daily. They help us, guide us in more ways than nobody knows about. They're just fucking so amazing to the show and to us personally as friends. And shout out Nelson Lopez, especially. He's gotten really close to Levi, and he's helped us out in a lot of ways. And
he'll be getting an interview in soon. We'll figure that out.
Probably in the following week, Lopez will be coming on. Also, we have Gogo coming on that was supposed to get done yesterday, but yesterday was just crazy. It was madness yesterday, man.
Well, 286 started way too early.
Fuck yeah, dude. I woke Levi up. He's in bed. I'm like, dude, the fight's are on. He's like, no fucking way, dude. I was like, yeah, they're on.
I was like, I'm just trying to catch some Z's. He's like, bro, I'm at the halftime right now. I'm like, dude, I looked. It's like early prelims. I was like, all right, I'll get there here in about an hour.
So we seen Holistic on your guys' mat last night. That was the first that we've seen them ever get involved in any kind of major sponsorship that I've seen.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Connor Lorenz put me in touch with them.
Shout out to Connor.
Billings.
Yeah, fuck yeah, Connor. You're
And-
cool as hell too.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor's with Collective Elevation, and they're our sponsor in Billings, and we were looking for a sponsor here, and they stepped up. Connor put me in touch with Hannah, and they stepped up and did a great job. They stepped up harder and bigger for us than any sponsor ever has.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's cool, man.
It was really great. And the other thing that was really great about last night's event is we had a couple of brand new people come up to us after the event and say, when you come back, we want to sponsor your event. And a couple of our existing sponsors came to us and said that they want to be on board with us even larger than what they're currently doing.
Oh, so
it's
that's
all
awesome.
about building some momentum and just trying to make things better.
Absolutely, man. Dude, Terrill, I think you get a bad rap sometimes online. People chew you up, and we're that way too. We get chewed on a lot, and we take it for the skin of our nose and just fucking what it is. And you also are the same way, dude. I want to say that I've never had a bad conversation with you, dude.
Well, it's perception, and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I've stuck my foot in my mouth, and my problem is I'm very passionate, and my passion is my blessing, and my
passion
curse.
sometimes translates to fucking aggression,
Yeah,
and even it's not that way.
Which is why, and I'm a warrior by heart. That's just the way I'm built, and that's why I was talking earlier about. Now I take time. I hit the pause button before I react, and I get it. I do make mistakes that people have a perception about me. I think the thing that bothers me the most, though, is that people think things about me that I honestly don't identify with that really are not true. That's not what my heart is about. But I also understand human nature. Sometimes people just go off of the information that they have, and they don't know the whole picture. So
shout out Derek, he's cool too.
That's
hell yeah.
That's a dog. I like Derek.
Yeah, Derek the Buck Gates. Hey, there's a guy. There's a guy right there that steps up and fights anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place.
And he's also matchmaking and all types of shit, man. He's fucking he's really networked into the fight culture that I respect. Really, he's cool.
Yep, he's building it out there. Yep, I got a lot of respect for Derek. Derek, we need to catch up sometime soon. Love you too, buddy.
There you go. You know who to call. Besides the Ghostbusters, of course.
Yeah. So no, it's getting back to it. I'm an open book. Anytime anybody ever wants to talk to me, it's like I'm not just going to be a pushover. I'm going to tell you what my side of it was too. But we work together and we come to a good, happy medium that works best for everybody, and we build and go forward. That's what it's about. It's the biggest thing that I hate is the perception that how rich we fight promoters are and how much money that we make, and people say, oh yeah, he walked out of that show making $50,000, and it's like
nobody considers the cost of what it takes to put on the show though as well.
I have a 2011 Chevy Duramax truck that I use to pull my cage back and forth. This is my own sob story. I broke a crankshaft on it pulling my trailer back from our Boise show in October, and it is sitting like a paperweight in my driveway.
Oh no!
I don't have 2 pennies to rub together to fix that. It's going to cost me $17,000 to replace the Duramax.
God damn!
I can't even begin.
I sold my diesel because it was I had a really, really awesome truck, dude. But I poured so much money into my diesel that I had given up. I said, "Fuck you, dude!
Yeah,
I'm done with diesel."
More time working on it.
Yeah, that's all I did was work on my fucking truck, dude.
It's like if I was making that kind of money, I'd just say, "That's no big."
That's what I said, Terrill. I said, "That's a rich man's vehicle, man."
I go buy a new truck. Instead, I'm trying to figure out, okay, I'm sitting here making payments on a truck, paying insurance for it, and having to rent a truck to go pull my cage. And
dude, your honesty is important, man. I think it's going to help a lot of your fighters understand when they come in like that. It's like that, man. You know what I mean? And I think it's cool, man. This interview was awesome, by the way. I fucking have really enjoyed this interview.
Everybody's just doing the best they can with what they got, and everybody is no different.
So can we clear something up on kind of like the controversy of what led into all of the fucking the mess that that played out online and what happened? Because I think everybody needs an air and cleaning on this one.
The main event with who was supposed to be the main event.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy to talk about that. So everybody knows that a little over a year ago we had kind of a bad incident with Tommy. Tommy Spider didn't make weight, and he chose to not take the matchup, and it was a rough deal. It was our main event fight, and so we didn't have our main event for that show, and there was just a lot of difficulty over it. So it ended on kind of medium terms. So a little bit out, Tommy got to thinking about it and had a little bit of a different take on it and reached out to me and said that he wanted to work together and make things right. And shout out to him for recognizing that and wanting to meet us in the middle. So
it sounds like he's been working with you guys for a long while too.
So we decided to bring him back and do a show in Great Falls, and he actually was on the phone with me. We picked the date together and made the plans to do this show in Great Falls and make it his comeback fight and blow it up and make it big. So where the difficulty is that Tommy thought, it was never stated, but Tommy thought that based, and I could see where he would think it. The conversation that we had, he assumed that he was going to be the main event, and I had not made that decision yet because I didn't know who else was going to be on the card. Like, for all I knew, who knows? Maybe Leo decides to come back and fight, or somebody like that. Maybe Gage is on the card, and Tommy would recognize that he's not going to try and be main event over one of those guys. Right. So then, we put the fight card together, and Kai was going to be on the fight. We put Kai on the card, and our matchmakers were working with those guys to get their matches put together. Tommy's fight ended up being the one that the contract got signed first.
Oh,
no. I might be wrong on that. Whose contract came together first, Tommy's or Kai's?
Kai's contract was first.
Yep, Kai's came first.
Kai's contract came first.
Versus Cody Habit.
Yep. So Kai's contract was first. So there was the conversation about who should be main event, Tommy or Kai, and it was kind of one of those things. There was a misunderstanding that our matchmakers felt like Tommy really didn't care; he just wanted to fight on the card,
right?
And Kai didn't really have any expectation, but Kai's been fighting with us. Kai fought 12 times since Tommy's.
He had 5 fights last year.
I was gonna say since last.
He's a fucking savage.
3 years ago or 2.5 years ago.
Over the 3-year time period, Kai's fought 12 times. He's fought a lot for us, and he was the co-main event on the fight card before. So our matchmakers felt like, let's go ahead and give
him the shot,
the main event. And so I said, okay, let's do that. And then we found out that Tommy did have feelings about that, and so. And I can understand why there was the misunderstanding. It was never promised, but I can understand why he assumed that he was going to be.
Okay. I mean, that explains a lot, man. It really does.
Have legitimate claims to be main event fighters. And
Absolutely.
It was something that's, you talk about learning. That was something where now we know that there's going to be a detailed conversation with who's going to be the main event fight, who's going to be the co-main event fight. We learned from it. We take our lumps.
100%. All right.
So
simple mistakes turn into serious emotions for real. And I think that was a great explanation of what happened. Yeah. And I think it should clear up a lot of it was a fucking mistake.
We had good conversations with Tommy about it. I had good conversations with Kai about it. And at one point, Kai was asked if he wanted to give up that position. He was made an offer to make that worth his while if he wanted to give that spot to Tommy. But Kai felt like, hey, I've already been given it. I mean, if it would have been to begin with before it was announced, I could see Tommy taking the main event. He's been a mainstay in Great Falls for years.
Yeah,
he's a cornerstone.
Oh, clearly a fucking fan favorite. I mean, you hear last night, it was fucking insane.
But Kai also felt like it didn't look good for his career to have it and then have it taken away, and nobody can blame Kai for that. So he decided to retain it, and that was his right. And we told him we backed
between me, you, and Kai, I think I hope to God that you guys, we see you guys work together in the future. And that's my personal opinion. I know no one else's. That's my personal opinion. I hope that I would like to see him back in a fusion cage at some point.
Yeah, we'll see what shakes out. I hate to talk about definites and things like that. I think, but it was an unfortunate situation that happened, and there's error on our part. We made mistakes to create that situation. So we did our best to fix it, and we got to a point where everybody was in agreement and everybody was moving forward. But it did cause a lot of hostility between Tommy and Kai, which is
me being in the media. I love it, man, because I knew for a fact that controversy was going to fucking sell the house out, man.
Yeah, but for me, it's not all about the money, and And because I had my own MMA school and I understand lineage and things like that, it's really unfortunate when you have two fighters. Tommy came from the Wolfpack, and Kai was training with the Wolfpack.
It was sad to watch that fall out real quick. It really was.
You have two Wolfpack connected fighters that are at odds with each other, and they're both from the same
over the same issue, and it was really sad. It was super sad to watch that one play out for me.
It really was. It was difficult on our part too, and it really it distracted from a lot of things. It
really did. Yeah,
those are the kinds of things that make this not fun for me. It's because I don't enjoy that stuff, and it makes it that those are the things that make me say, do I really want to keep doing this? So it worked out the way that it worked out, and and then Kai ended up dealing with it. Kai had an injury and wanted to get it checked out and made sure that it was okay. Kai decided to go ahead and step down from the card, and we supported that decision. If that's what he did.
And you had a successful night. Everything worked out. In its own way, as God would have put it. It worked out. And
Kai will have his opportunities moving forward, and everything works out the way that it's supposed to. So that's really the way that I feel about everything. And I
great insight, man.
My goal is I want to build fighters. I don't want to play favorites. But no matter what I do, I'm always going to get accused of something. I said it earlier, though. It's so funny because I get caught in the middle, and I get both sides. Do
you know what David told me one time on this exact topic? He said it's okay to be the bad guy sometimes.
Yeah,
that was one of the best advice. I want to offer you advice going forward in your life. He's like, it's okay to be the bad guy sometimes.
You would think, having been a cop before, that my skin would be a little bit thicker. And things didn't bother me being a cop. I never took things personally. People would say things to me being a cop. I never took stuff like that personal. But for some reason, when it's in this situation, when those things happen, it sticks with me. There was a night that I had woke up from a really, really bad nightmare over everything that was going on. It was funny because I talked to Tommy that next morning, and Tommy had a nightmare that night too.
Crazy.
And it was like, it was
it's in the air.
When that shit goes on, and it keeps you awake at night because you care and you're concerned about it, and you just want to try and figure it out the best that you can. I wish that I didn't care so much. I wish that people could say things and it wouldn't bother me. But you know what, guys?
It's what makes your company good right now, though. The passion you have, don't ever dilute yourself, bro, because the passion you have for your company is what makes Fusion such a decent fucking promotion, man.
I just can't keep everybody happy. You can't, trying to make everybody, and that's one of the things that I'm coming to terms with, is that I'm kind of turning a corner, because I feel like trying to keep everybody happy gets me in trouble.
100%.
And then the other thing that I'm finding out is that my niceness is getting confused for weakness. And that shit is going to stop. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to tolerate it. I don't have to.
You wear a suit and tie, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if that doesn't tell you something, you know what I mean? When you wear a suit and tie, that's business, bro.
There's the which came first, the chicken or the egg? Do fighters need promotions more, or do promotions need fighters more? And I think that is it's a symbiotic relationship. We are nothing without fighters, and fighters are nothing without the promotion.
Yeah,
but that's just the way it is. So I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And when somebody makes a statement to me, sends me a message, here's what happens with me mentally. I look at it and I go, okay, somebody's saying this. I look at it, I read it, and I go, okay, really? Not just what you want to tell yourself, Terrill, but take a hard look at it. How much of that is true? And if you can identify something that's true, identify it and fix it, claim it, make apologies for it, and make it better. But if it's not you, if it's not your motivation, if it's not who you are, then let it go and move on.
Do you know what makes your job so hard, man? Is egos. Egos are such a motherfucker. I've been on this topic for the past 3 or 4 months. I'm trying to become, and I'm also a work in progress myself, but like, I'm trying to become egoless. It's a huge mission for me, because I have a massive ego, and it fucking puts me in a lot of places that sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. But I'm trying to be egoless. I want to apologize more. I want to be more open with everybody, because I know that my ego is fucking the downfall of me ultimately. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
and I battle with it too. I battle with it too. There was a argument that I got into with a fighter that was a really good jiu-jitsu fighter, and he was being pretty disrespectful about things. And it was like the ego side of me wanted to say, you know what? you're really good at what you do, but you would, if it weren't for me, you would be doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you would probably be doing it significantly differently.
Yeah.
Because we were the first school that I know of that brought, I said it before on the first podcast, we were the school that brought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the state of Montana.
Yeah.
We
I remember that.
The Baring family.
I recall that as well.
There were some people that were practicing in their garages and things like that. But to my knowledge, we had the first official Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. We brought Peter Iacovacci, a black belt, came here, lived here. We had Silvio and Flavio Baring, and I went over to Brazil, got my blue belt in Brazil. And
Gangster, dude.
It was a really, really good experience. And so that's something that I take pride in, because I took a lot of shit from my instructor and from the traditional martial arts.
That's what you said on the first pod. If anybody wants to, you can recall that on the first. He had a really good episode on the first pod as well.
And it was hard. It was hard because I was the black sheep. But so when somebody, I always think that people should remember where they came from. And I kind of feel the same way about BKFC. I feel like, now I can't discount Joe Riggs. Joe had a lot to do with bringing BKFC to Great Falls as well.
100% he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. His name, his rep. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, he absolutely did. But, when it came to hosting the first fight in Billings and trying to make a smooth transition. And if nobody thinks that bringing BKFC here has not affected Fusion Fight League, it's affected us positively and negatively.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, we've had shows that we've had to cancel because it was too close to their show, and we're not going to
compete.
We can't compete. We can't.
That makes sense.
Bare knuckle fighting is the shiny new object on
it
the
is,
block.
and it's fucking good too. It's a good product.
As soon as you watch it live and you just hear mitts hit meat, man, it just changes.
You hear it from everyone. As soon as they go to it, it's game over. They're like, "Holy shit, dude!"
Yeah. So it has affected us. It is really bringing our competition to town. But we've also learned so much from them that
it's dope that you made friends with your competition, because now you have that advantage that you are working really closely with
partners.
Yes.
So some of these guys, I will say it, and this is my ego. This is a statement I should not make. This is my character flaw showing through. Would all these guys be fighting on BKFC if it were not for the Fusion team that worked hard to make BKFC here?
The answer is no.
Well, they might be, but it might be
not likely.
Or in this timeline, it might have been a different timeline or different things like that. And that's and give credit where credit's due. One of the people, so Ryan Hall also, he made the initial contact for. He made the initial contact with
he is an Uber of fucking networking, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a connected hound, bro. He knows everyone and anyone, dude. That is a truth.
Yeah, and then the one that poured the gas on that fire and said, "Let's go, let's do that," was Moxie.
Really?
When she picked up on the BKFC thing, she was like, "We want to do that. Let's go." So yeah, there was a lot of people that came together to make that happen, and I take pride in the fact that I was at least a part of that. But it is what it is. I can't take full claim for it or anything like that.
You definitely had your hand in it, bro. And I thank you because of you, because of Fusion, because of the fighters, because of the promotion, because of our auntie, several of the people that were around on a daily. The show wouldn't be shit. You know what I mean? It would still just be us being us. You know what I mean? I want
hooligans with mics is what I like to say.
I want to say thank you to everybody that's come on our show. I want to say thank you to our sponsors. I want to thank you to the promotions that, we should have worked the show last night. And unfortunately, due to hairy situations, we sat as spectators, and I really enjoyed it, but I wish I could have worked it as well. You know what I mean? I love working, dude. I love my job, and that's, it's not work when you love it. You know what I mean? And that's what I love the bust about. And I have to say thank you.
Yeah. Hey, you guys,
I thank you.
You guys are really killing it. I mean, you're putting yourselves out there. You're traveling. You're meeting people. You're forging new ground.
Yeah.
There's nobody else.
We're pioneering this.
There's
I was gonna say
it's in the area that's doing what you guys are doing. So hats off to you. It's I wouldn't have an opportunity to sit and tell people how I really feel about things if it weren't for you guys. And that's why I think we are a community coming together.
I was going to say that. I want to, if we can help Fusion, or, even if your podcast journey and you guys need to reach out to us, I want to be a source of help as well.
Yeah.
Personally, whether it's me through Levi or whether the show, I would like to stand by and say and offer our help to you guys as well.
And vice versa. Anything that we can do to support you guys, I look forward to a great relationship moving forward. And
Yes.
I will put it out there. Anybody who has good ideas for us on how we can improve and how we can do things better, as long as you bring it respectfully, I will gladly listen and work through whatever you've got, as long as you do it in a respectful way.
Sure.
If you do it disrespectfully, I got no time for you.
That's fair.
Fair point.
Fair enough, man. I think we've Levi, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to shout out before we got too far off the Ryan Hall thing. He said that we should do a reiteration of how we even got here. So me and Ty are going to do that soon.
Tight. All
A
right.
full
Cool.
episode of just telling us how the bust and how our raise up ever came. So just look forward to that.
And I'm going to
What's
throw
going
it
on.
out there. Ryan Hall did so many things for Fusion Fight League. He really took.
He's a
us up level.
workaholic, man.
He made so many really good connections. He built a great relationship with the fighters, and to this day, Ryan still calls me on a regular basis, and he's looking out for the organization. He's looking out for our best.
He does it for me as well, man. He's just he's a source of thank you.
When I need an opinion, when we started putting together our code of ethics, it was like I bounced that off of Ryan, and he gave me so many really good ideas. He is a third party out there that is he just wants to see everybody do better too. His motives are in the right space.
He's a fucking, like I said, a uber of information too, man. Like he is because I've done some shit online where he's been like, take that down now, dog, because it's gonna save you some shit, dude.
Yeah, he's got the marketing part down.
He's smart, and I listen to him because he's never led me astray yet, and his information usually concurs. You know what I mean?
He's throwing a wet blanket on me at times. Terrill, you might want to rethink that.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe you're right.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, man, dude. I want to say shout out to our sponsors. Lay them out on us. Go, baby.
We got a Guerrilla Warfare apparel.
Yeah.
Best gear in the fight world.
Fuck
You see
yeah.
what it is right here, right there. Oh, Kale's out here with the. We got 2 new shirts that just dropped on Friday. Our Montana TWB shirt. Check it out.
We got hoodies.
And hoodies, tinfoil apes. Check it out. That is so that's 1 and 1. TWB 10 at checkout. Save yourself 10% off. 20 past 4. Your one-stop vape and head shop. 4 locations. 2
Yeah.
in Great Falls, 1 in Helena, 1 in Billings. Our Aunt Jamie St. Mark's finally in the house.
Finally.
She's coming up next. And Hudson's trash removal and halftime sports bar.
Yep, you got him. You nailed him, bro. Right on, dude.
Yeah,
And,
I know. I'm really good at this.
He is really good at this.
I do.
Yeah.
He's not a rookie.
And I want you to be able to shout out to anybody you had sponsors or anything that you want to shout out.
Oh, where would I start? I don't want to leave anybody out. Halftime Sports
We
Bar
do a lot of
has
stuff.
come on board with us. Gusto Distributing has really been great for us. Lee at Reference Audio, Ray at Glass Doctor. So many
Holistic.
holistic, absolutely. Our brand new sponsor that I'm gonna do my best to make sure that they just such good people. I
was chopping it up with them behind you last night.
Weren't they awesome?
They were hella
just
cool, man.
so
Yeah.
happy to be there. Hannah reached out to me this morning, shot me a message, and they were really happy. Just great people all the way around. So Cowboys, Diana at Cowboys always stepping up and supporting us for our face-offs.
Yeah, no, I actually have a question concerning your face. Is there a particular reason why you use the Cowboys and not using like a Converse
Or
convention
maybe in
room?
the same location as the venue, or you know what I mean? How that
Yeah,
can go.
Yeah. So we've really wanted to build up our face-offs and make a bigger production out of that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where she was there with us when few other people were, and that's her thing that she really likes. And so
it's a relationship thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to take that. I don't want to take.
It was a
that
question
away
that
from
I've
what
had
they
like, for
do.
a while. Actually, I'm like, I don't know why the fuck they do the face-offs.
Relationships are more important than money. I mean,
100%. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah. Is there people out there that will give us more money to be in a place? Yeah, but relationships. I don't forget who got you where you are.
Yes.
And
Yes.
these are the people that stepped up and helped us to get where we are.
Fair enough, man. That's cool.
Yeah, we have a ton of fun there too. So
I don't want to keep you no longer. I know you got to hit the road. Then we already kept you.
yeah, long drive back to Billings.
You gave us a fucking phenomenal show. I can't wait to have you back on again. I can't wait for Fusion to be back. And it looks like we're going to continue our relationship. So I can't wait to be sitting ringside next to you sometime soon.
Yeah, you guys will be at the next show.
Shout out to Richie as well. He's out here.
Richie, yeah, Richie's a dog, man. But dude, he fucks with us tough, dude. I fuck with Richie, dude.
Right? Well, and that's it. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, this is the weekly bus. Thank you for coming on, bro.
Thanks for
that,
having me. Peace
we
out,
are.
everybody.
The weekly bus. Hell yeah. All right, and we'll be back with Jamie St. Marks and Billy Wagner.